Here we are at the last topic of the electricity unit. So we are going to be talking about how we produce electricity. Now in Canada alone, we burn 2 quintillion joules of energy a year, which is a lot of energy. So all the world's power generating facilities together produce about 3 billion kilowatt hours. That means every second there's enough electrical energy being produced to light a 100-watt light bulb for 951 years. So we generate electricity in many different ways in Canada. So this graph is showing you how we have been changing our energy production over time. So we have biofuels, solar, wind, nuclear, hydro, oil, natural gas, coal, and our total generation. And so it's showing you the percentage that's from each one. So as you look at this, you can see that they vary over time, which is, always something that's important to be able to tell that we adapt to our environments as we do. So you can think of as well how and why these change depending on politics, depending on what's happening in the world. All of those make changes into our choices of energy generation. So here's a video for you to watch on how much electricity it takes to power our world. You have been talking about renewable and non-renewable energy since elementary school, so I know that you know some of these things already. Solar energy, biomass, hydropower, wind power, and geothermal energy are all renewable because we were able to regenerate the source quite quickly. Fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, and nuclear, we cannot regenerate the fuel that we are burning to create power using those as fast as we consume it, which makes it non-renewable. So our thermal energy generation sites, these fuel the natural gas, they're fueled by natural gas and coal. They burn thermoelectric energy and produce electricity using the thermal energy. And it's 25% of Canada's power every year. We are now consuming them faster than they are being reproduced, so they are non-renewable resources. Biomass can also be burned in the thermoelectric generators. Trees, crops, aquatic plants, wood, animal waste, they're all renewable resources because they can be replenished. Coal is the most common fuel for thermoelectric power plants in Alberta. We have enough coal in Alberta to consume for 800 years. So why are we worrying about coal being burned? What is something that we worry about with that? So think about that because I know you know the answer. Now here, this is talking about our thermal electric generation power. So these all have switched but are supposed to be arrows. So fossil fuel burning creates heat. The heat boils the water and creates steam. The steam turns a turbine. Spinning the turbine spins a coil of wire around the magnet in the generator, which produces the electricity. So that's just explaining how this whole process works. So there's always good and bad. So our positives of thermoelectric, or positives that come out of thermal energy, thermoelectric generation plants, is that we do reclamation. So we reclaim. When a mine is finished, we go back and we clean up that mine site so that it goes back to the same as it was before. We have lots of coal in Alberta. We have scrubbers, which are anti-polluter systems that can remove some of the the sulfur dioxide being released. If you remember back to our environmental chem unit, the sulfur dioxide is what causes acid rain. Mining coal uses relatively little energy compared to how much energy is stored in that coal. So we're still gaining a lot, even though we're digging it out. Some of the negatives would be the open pit mines disturbs the soil and the plants. Reclamation does not always mean that the animals want to go back after the mine has been there. Underground mines produce waste called tailings. Based on the water used in the mine, it can become acidified and contaminated. Burning coal allows contaminants like sulfur dioxide to enter the air, which can combine with the water and the vapor to create acid rain. Burning coal produces CO2, which is the greatest greenhouse gas, and delays the escape of heat from the earth. And 33% of the energy from the coal that's burned is actually converted into electricity. So we do have a lot of waste energy. That 43% of heat waste energy leaves the plant into this cooling water, where they have actually the thermal water is returned to lakes and rivers, which increases the temperature of those lakes and rivers and affects, as you may remember in the environmental unit, affects the ecosystems in the water. So there's positives and negatives. Hydro plants, lots of people say, oh, hydro plants are way better. There's no negatives. Well, it's not true. There's always positives and there's always negatives. So with hydroelectric generation, there's a YouTube video on it, but how this one works is you have water falling down the hill, it turns a turbine, that spinning turbine turns the coil of wire around the magnet and generator, which produces electricity. Now, the good side, less greenhouse gases, because you're not burning anything, so you don't have that coming off. Water is considered a renewable resource, and you can increase or decrease the energy production to meet demand. So if you didn't need a lot of energy, you could just have less of it falling. So you can have a reservoir, and the reservoir can be used during floods to hold large amounts of water. So those are good things. The not so good sides is that the reservoirs themselves store water behind the dams and they flood a lot of land, which does affect the ecosystems. So the vegetation decays, the fish suffer, and greenhouse gases are released as a result. Dams are built to store the water, but some fish from migrating are also affected, like our salmons that move up and down the rivers. The aquatic environments can get caught in the spinning turbines, which obviously can not only make a mess, but also affect the ability for the turbines to turn and therefore affect the ability for electricity to be produced. And you can remove marshland habitats. Nuclear generators take a fission reaction, which creates heat. The heat that boils the water and creates steam. Steam turns the turbine. The spinning turbine spins the coil of wire around a magnet in the generator, producing electricity. So all of these, if you notice, once you get to the turbine spins the coil of wire around the magnet in the generator, producing the electricity. That part's similar for all of these. So here in the nuclear generators, you've got uranium being not burned, but it's a fission reaction, which has a lot of energy being produced. So good things, tons of energy very, very quickly. Cogeneration systems produce electricity and supply thermal waste energy for industrial heating. Not so good side, the fuel is very radioactive for thousands and thousands of years, which is a little bit scary. And no one really knows how to safely transport or store these materials yet and what to do with them. 70% of the thermal heat energy from the nuclear power plant leaves the plant in cooling water, which affects the ecosystems around there with thermal pollution. So, another idea, nuclear fission, joining small atoms together to form larger atoms, creates a huge amount of energy, but we're still working on how to make this reaction last longer than a couple of seconds. So how do we store all of the energy that we produce? So then we have these alternative energy resources, and this is less than 1% of Canada's electricity is produced from alternative resources like solar, wind, tide, and geothermal. Wind, they're super common in southern Alberta, where you have winds that exceed 11 kilometers an hour. But what do you do if there's no wind? So that's one of the complexities there. Solar panels. Solar panels are very rarely used because they're expensive and they only convert 15% of the light energy into electricity. So it's not doing a great job at converting. Ocean tides, we have those, and twice a day you can use them. And as the water levels change, you can create electricity out of this by having the turbines spin, but the problem is it's only twice a day. Geothermal is actually a really great way to create our energy. However, we don't have a lot of sites in Canada that suit geothermal energy production. So it's really important that you have to be kind of close to those sites to make that work. So these are the different types of energy production that we have in Alberta and in Canada. And this is what we're going to be working on this week and what our presentation will be about on Tuesday.